Are your feet constantly numb and tingly? It might not just be poor circulation. It could be diabetes silently attacking your nerves. Skin infections that just won't heal. That's another red flag pointing directly to this hidden menace. Let us learn how we can spot signs of diabetes early. Hello, welcome once more to Drug Today Medical Times. Today we are joined by Professor Peter Schwarz, who is the president of the International Diabetes Federation, who will talk about the unusual diabetes symptoms that many people don't pay attention to.
Today we know that having fat in your liver is the strongest determinant of getting diabetes. If you have 100 grams of fat in your liver, you become a non-responder to physical activity. 100 grams of fat in your liver makes you that you increase your diabetes risk, and diabetes progresses 10 times faster than in people who do not have liver fat. Where is the fat in the liver coming from? It's mainly coming from the consumption of fried carbs, and this is the daily diet here in India. So if you want to prevent diabetes, one of the big steps is reduce the amount of carbs, reduce the amount of especially fried carbs, and be physical active. And if it's difficult to achieve this, think about intermittent fasting or total fasting for 2 weeks.
Diabetes, according to Professor Schwarz, is a hidden disease that can harm organs such as the eyes, kidneys, and nerves for years before detection.
Diabetes mellitus is a silent disease. If the glucose raises, you don't feel it, it doesn't hurt. People living with diabetes diagnose diabetes after 10 or 15 years. And this is dangerous. This is a problem because during this period, the eyes get destroyed, the kidney gets destroyed, the nerve gets destroyed. And this defines, we call it morbidity and mortality of the patient. So early checkups, early measurement of glucose or glycemia is very important. So if you hear this, take the chance in the pharmacy or at your diabetes association or wherever there's a chance to measure your glucose to see whether you have diabetes or not.
What are the impact of diabetes on mental and neurological health?
Diabetes has a severe impact on the mood and on well-being of people living with diabetes. This is actually the theme of this year's World Diabetes Day. 70% of the people experienced an impact on quality of life, well-being, and mood due to diabetes. 80% report about burnout, and 75% would like to get help, but they don't get it. So diabetes is a severe situation or severe condition affecting the mood of people living with diabetes, and we have to change this. We have to ask the patient, we have to focus on putting the patient into the center of diabetes care, because only this might change well-being and quality of life for people living with diabetes. The glucose increases. It sometimes takes 10 to 15 years until diabetes is diagnosed. But a silent increase in glucose destroys the fine nerve on the blood vessel, in the skin, and this initiates the symptoms like tickling for people living with diabetes. So if you recognize it, go and test your blood sugar to see whether you have a risk.
Does diabetes affect our skin directly, and if so, how one can recognize that they may have diabetes?
Diabetes is not primarily affecting the skin. So, but I can say something. Diabetes mellitus is affecting all organs in our body, and the largest organ is the skin. So high glucose destroys blood vessels in the skin, and this makes the skin becoming dirty. This makes the skin becoming unhealthy. And by this way, diabetes is affecting the skin. If you see any signs, take the chance and get your blood sugar tested to see whether you have diabetes or not.
Professor Schwarz talks about find it early and take care of it properly.
Diabetes mellitus, especially if the glucose is rising, it destroys blood vessel and nerves. And by this, it destroys also the kidney function. If the kidney doesn't work anymore, at the end, you have to get dialysis, or if dialysis is not available, you die because of kidney disease. And the main determinant is the destruction of blood vessels in the kidney. This often happens 5 or 10 years before diabetes is diagnosed. Unfortunately, you don't feel it. The best way is get your blood sugar tested regularly and see if the blood sugar is increased, do something against diabetes. Diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes, is an autoimmune disease, and there's a direct link also to thyroid disease if it's related to antibodies. So if you have thyroid disease or type 1 diabetes, both should get tested each other.
Professor Schwarz talks about the newest studies and discoveries in treating diabetes, such as the role of beta cells is being replaced, new medicines that make insulin work better. Why is intermittent fasting beneficial for you?
The latest research in diabetes is several. One is the replacement of beta cell function, or the replacement on insulin-producing beta cells. The second is new developed drugs who help the people to improve insulin function and reduce risk. But some of the best latest research is regarding fasting. If you do intermittent fasting or total fasting for 2 weeks, this may help you to lead to a remission of diabetes. So the fastest way to gain health is fasting.
Professor Schwarz talks about how important diet is for people with diabetes.
The main link between for diabetes is your food intakes. Especially here in the region in India, the people are eating too much kilocalorie and too much carbs. So eating carbs destroys your liver, destroys your pancreas, destroys your insulin production, and eating carbs and this makes you getting diabetes. So diabetes is, I would say, 130% depending on the nutrition. Genetically modified food products are not the main driver of getting diabetes. The main thing is carbs, 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 and especially fried carbs.
Stay alert. These warning signs aren't just symptoms. They're your body's cries for help. Don't ignore them. Thank you for being with us. If you have any thoughts or questions, please write them down in the comment section. And don't forget to like and follow our channel to see more such helpful videos.